Good morning, you guys. I'd like to make a video about family support and dynamics and avoidance. I have had to change some dynamics in my family of origin recently, and what has happened is that the women in my family, when I say family of origin, I mean parents, siblings, step parents, like that. The women have leaned in and wanted to heal, and the men have avoided or lashed out when I started asking for more authentic relationships and stated some negative dynamics that I saw. And as I was coming more into my truth and what I needed and wanting to come more from my heart, there are some people who leaned in. It happened to be the women. It doesn't always have to be just the women. And then the people who ran away and avoided were the men. It doesn't always mean that men will do that. There are many men who lean in, many women who run away, but those were the dynamics in my family. And it kind of always surprises me when that happens. Like, it surprises me when I go to people that I feel have loved me, and I go to them and I say, here's some healing that needs to take place in our family. Here's something, how do you feel about me? What are some things you need from me? Here are some things I would like to heal in our relationship, or this is what I'm up to. What are you up to? How do you feel about things? Just having like real authentic conversations. Not everybody wants those fucking authentic conversations. Some people are terrified of that. They get triggered. And when they get triggered, they want to lash out or they want to shut down. I don't think that these people are purposely, in my family, the people that have run away or gotten triggered and lashed out, I don't feel like they're doing it on purpose. I just think that they don't know how to deal with their emotions. So when they get triggered around being asked how they feel or what they need or wanting to lean in, they feel flooded, they feel triggered somehow, and so they shut down or lash out. They don't know how to do it. I know there are other people who can't do it because they don't even know what they feel. They're just disconnected from the neck down. But that's not my responsibility. And I think shaking things up is good, because when I shake things up, not by yelling, not by running away, but by authentically leaning in with my truth, that shakes the things the fuck up. And it brings in a lot of closeness, a lot of love, and a lot of healing with the people who want that. And the other people can either lash out or run away. And then I don't want them in my life. I don't. I am just filtering them out with my fucking truth. The truth, seekers, I think whatever we're into, whether we want to be alcoholics or workaholics or truth seekers, if we show up and are honest about who we are and what we want, we're going to filter out the people who don't want that. Like, if you love to go to wineries and you like to get drunk and you put that out there, you're going to attract people like that, and the people who are abstainers are not going to want to be around you. Isn't that what you want? If you're a truth seeker, why not speak your truth so that you will attract people who are truth seekers and the rest will drift away? The problem for a lot of people comes with their family. I am a big believer that we have to fucking detach from our family. We have to detach from our family. And as adults, as children, we needed them. As adults, we do not need them. A family is a community. We can build our own community. And a lot of families are toxic or they can't show up. And that's why this book is really good too. Healing from Narcissistic Abuse, because the exercises in this book are about releasing the need for these other people. I think as adults, I don't even want to support my kids anymore. I think as adults, we all have to show up as adults and decide, who do we want to be in relationship with? I went no contact with my brother yesterday. I don't have any strong feelings about it. I love him. It's not healthy for me to be around people who hate me. He doesn't hate me, but when he gets triggered, I triggered him around wanting to lean in and have an authentic relationship, and he went off and called me a bunch of names, and I realized how much he hates me, and he hates women. He does hate women. He has a mother wound. I don't want to be around that. Just because he's my little brother and I love him doesn't mean that it's not good for me. And I really believe, I know a lot of people think family is blood. It's not blood. That's a story. That's a belief that you have. That's an attachment and a clinginess and a neediness. I don't want my kids to hang out with me because of, they feel guilty or I'm needy or whatever. I want my kids to come over because they like my company. And they like my company because I accept them, I love them, I support them. I don't tell them what to do. I want to be a person that they want to be around, that they choose to be around. Not out of obligation, not out of guilt, not out of fear. I don't want them to be afraid of me. And the same with my family. I want to be around people that are healthy, that are open. So what do people do? A lot of people are still, as adults, looking for their family's approval. Even in my 50s, I was afraid of my dad. I had to break that tie. And there are ways to break the ties with people. If you think about what are you afraid of losing if you don't have them, once you clear all that trauma out and that attachment, we're not little children who need our family anymore, you guys. If your family enhances your life and makes it better, by all means, you're blessed, because it's really wonderful to have supportive people in our lives who uplift us. But if your family brings you down or hates you, I think it's super important to have an authentic conversation and say, hey, I would love to be more real with you. I would love to have a different kind of relationship with you, and see what they say. And if they don't want it, I think it's okay to let them go and find people who do want to support you. This whole thing of latching onto family was maybe good in the prehistoric times when we lived in small groups and we needed each other for financial support or physical support. I'm really clearing out, I want my relationships to be authentic and from the heart. And I want to be around people who care about me and appreciate me and love me. I tell you what, none of my clients has ever talked to me the way my brother talked to me yesterday with all that hatred. They've never done that. And so being an escort has really changed my views of how I want to be treated by men and by people. That's the thing people don't get. It's like, oh, you're an escort, you're abused by men. No, I'm treated super well. And that's raised my standards for how I want other people to treat me. So I hope that this kind of gives you some inspiration. I realized also in my family of origin that I was the support for them. I was the strong one, and that kind of came from when I was little. I couldn't go to anyone in my family, so I learned that I could only rely on myself emotionally. When I had a problem, I couldn't go to my family. I had to solve every problem myself. For example, I remember when I walked to school, sometimes this boy would beat me up. And so I didn't tell my mom. I was always this little independent little girl. So one of my friends and I think it was a boy, I was like, we're going to write a note. We're going to tell this boy's mother. So I wrote a note. I went over, I must have been 5, went over to that boy's house. This was back when we were still allowed to play alone outside. Went to the boy's house. It was an apartment. Went upstairs. I knocked on the door. The mom opened the door. I handed her the note. I kind of stood on the stairwell while she read it, and I ran away. That boy never hit me again. That's one example. Other times I would just long for some boy and I would cry in silence. I wasn't allowed to like boys. I would just suffer in silence. And then also because I was my dad's favorite, I felt guilty for seeing them being abused by him. So I was always this independent little girl. I learned to not go to people when I needed something. I was the one that was most loved by my parents, so I felt like I had to support everyone, and I became the support. And I only realized a couple weeks ago that they couldn't be there for me. They were not there for me. My dad was not there for me. My brother wasn't there for me. My sister wasn't there for me. My mother wasn't there for me. Not because they were mean or bad, but it was just this dynamic that we had. So when I brought it to their attention, the women leaned in and the men shut down or ran away or lashed out. And I'm like, I think that was good that I did that. Because why should I support people who hate me or who don't want to lean or be authentic? Like, fuck that. That's no good for me. And I want a path to healing. I want a path to healing. I want to be on a path to healing because I want to be in a healthy relationship with a man. And I'm looking at all the things that could be in the way, like any negative energy I have around men. And the best place to look is in my family. If I look at my relationships with men, my first relationship with a man was very disappointing. My father, who loved me but was so unavailable, like, is that fucked up or what? My ex-husband, who loved me but was so unavailable. And my dad and my ex-husband just discarded me so easily when I asked them to lean in and step up. It made them so uncomfortable, they just shut down and froze and ran away. That's pretty much what they did. You got to read my book, The Fuck List, to read about, I couldn't figure out why my ex-husband would keep running away. I'm like, I'm just trying to have a authentic connection here. I'm not trying to get you to do drugs. I'm not even trying to be on your hip 24/7. I just want some authentic connection. He couldn't do it. He just shut down and he ran away. He let me leave him. He was devastated and he cried, but he just couldn't do it. That's what I mean. These people are not hating us. Some people just don't have the capacity, or they haven't been in enough pain yet to want to open up. But I tell you, it's not always about me asking people to lean in. Sometimes I have to lean in. It's fucking uncomfortable. I had to lean in this week. I had to lean in and I had to make some amends, and it was freaking uncomfortable. It was super hard. It was one of the hardest things I had to do this week was face my own discomfort and lean in. But I was willing to do it. I was willing to do it because I've done enough of these emotional things on myself that I could handle it. But inside I felt like, who needs these people? I want to be left alone. I just want to run away. So I get why people want to run away. But I think in order to be a person who leans in and lives from truth, it's going to be uncomfortable sometimes for them, sometimes for me. But I have to be more committed to my growth than running from my discomfort. I also want to say that it's so important to be in relationships with people that are mutual and reciprocal, where we're not only the ones always supporting or people pleasing, let's say, but that we also feel supported. That I can go to you too, that you show up. And that was part of, leaning in and speaking my truth, that I also want to feel supported. And I didn't even realize that I didn't feel supported. But I kind of knew that there wasn't anyone I could talk to or go to. And I started a few months ago trying to have more women in my life. Yesterday I had a bunch of female friends over. That was really nice. That's a new thing for me. A few months ago I wouldn't have done that. Like, I'm looking to expand my friendship circle, people I can support and lean on. Sometimes my friends trigger me now. Now that I have friends, sometimes they trigger me. I gotta deal with that, like, and I can be like, you guys, I'm kind of triggered right now. You're kind of triggering me right now. Um, and it's just good to just be able to be real with people. So yeah, I just wanted to share that video. Also, if any of you want coaching, I would love to talk to you. My website is in the description below. I really like helping people with their problems. Yeah, I do. Oh, thank you for watching my video.